let's go ahead and create a new timeline. So I'm going to unselect the use project settings, and in the format, I'm going to use vertical resolution. Now let's go ahead and make sure to download these assets. You will find them from the link in the description. Now, first you need to import all of these rocket images. So let's start with the first one right here. And now move 4 frames ahead. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you can just change the length of this image. Now drag in the second one, do the same thing, move 4 frames ahead, and you can also cut this and remove this right here. So I'm just going to quickly do this up till all the images are covered. Okay, so I have done this up till the ninth image. For the 10th image, we're going to do something different. So we will do that a little bit later. Right now, let's just work with these 9 images. So let's also go ahead and drag in our camera shutter effect. And this will be the sound effect for this. So what you can do is just copy this and make sure that this starts with the where the image starts. So something like this. And the final one, we will leave this for the last image. So over here, if you play this right now, this is how it looks. Now we're going to drag in a fusion composition right here. Right click and open in Fusion page. And here we're going to first of all drag in a background and then multi-merge. Connect this with the media out. And first of all, let's drag in this Elon image. Connect this with the multi-merge. And let's go over to the multi-merge. And over here, I will just rename this. And let's increase the size. So let's go with 2.2. Now I'm going to drag in the final image, the 10th image that we had. So go ahead and connect this with the multi-merge. And again, in the multi-merge, I'm going to change the name for this. So let's call this the rocket 10th. And let's also increase the size from here. So this is how it looks at the moment. Okay, so in the multi-merge, let me just unhide this rocket for now. And for this Elon image, let me add this color corrector and change the saturation to 0. Now press Ctrl space and search for emboss. And from here, change the style to emboss over and change the power to 4.57. Now let's go over to the multi-merge, and from here we're going to make some changes. So let's go over to 50 frames, and over here let's create a keyframe at center, size and angle. Go over to 20 frames, and over here let's change the size to 17, the angle to 15.7, and let's also change the X from here to 1.98 and the Y to minus 0.5. So something like this. And let's just go with 0 minus 0.55. All right. So if we play this, this is how it will look. And now let's also go over to 70 frames. And over here, we're going to just change the angle to minus 5. All right. Now for this image, the image that we had for the rocket, let's just enable this. And for this, we're going to add an ellipse, connect the ellipse with the media into. So right now over here at 40, we're going to adjust this. So make sure to change the soft edge to 0.028. And now let's zoom in. And from here, we can change the width and the height and the angle a little bit as well. So something like this. Let's go even lower. So something like this looks okay. So now create a keyframe at width and height. So make sure this is according to the image that you have, but of course you can copy these settings as well. Now let's go over to 20. And from here, we're going to just increase the width and the height like this. So here you can see this is how it looks. But of course, right here, we're going to remove this. So let's move 1 frame ahead and just reduce this all the way to 0. the width and the height. So if you play this, here you can see this is how it looks. Now, one thing I would like to do here at 40 frames is to make sure to change the width enough so that this looks like it's not going outside the area of the eye. So something like this looks okay. Yep. All right. So make sure you adjust this according to how it looks good. And now the next thing that we need to do is to add a text. So let's go ahead, add this text right here, connect this with the multi-merge, and I'm just going to type in his name. And let's go ahead with the font called Lucida Bright. And let's change this to demi bold italic. Okay, so let's go right here, somewhere around here. 55, let's go over to 55 and put this right here, increase the size a little bit. And I'm going to go over to the layout, and from here we can just adjust the Z and make sure that this is visible like this. Now over here at the layout, make sure to create a keyframe at center and then go over at 45 frames, move this outside the screen. Also go over to spline, make sure to select the text and the displacement and select these keyframe and hit S on the keyboard. So if you play this now, this is how it looks. And of course, you can also do one more thing. You can move the text along with it. So what you can do right here is, let's go over to 75. Or let's, first of all, let's go right here at 55, create a keyframe at Z, because this is how this will change the angle. And then let's go over to 75 and move this right here. So it seems like it's moving with the image, something like this. Okay. Let me just reduce this a little bit. I'm going to try this at 35 now. So let's see. Okay, 35 looks okay. But of course, you can play around with this to see how this looks, how where it looks best. But right now, for me, 35 looks the best. Okay, so the next thing is to add a rocket. So for this, we're going to add this rocket right here, this rocket PNG. Make sure to add this, connect this with the multi-merge. And let's also rename this. So let's call this rocket. And let's increase the size a little bit. And I'm just going to position this, change the angle, position this accordingly, something like this. Minus 40 looks okay for me. So let's go over to 75, and from here I'm just going to move this rocket outside the screen. Make sure to create a keyframe at center. Then let's come back to 60 frames and move this right here. So make sure this is a straight line like this. And now we're going to add the, you can say, smoke coming outside, coming from the rocket. So for this, we're going to add a fast noise. And we're also going to add this polygon. But right now, let me just set the fast noise settings. So in the details, make sure to change this to 0.7, the detail to 0.7, contrast to 0.8, and let's just go with minus 0.8 for the brightness as well. And for the seed rate, I'm going with 0.228. So make sure you have these settings, and let's connect this with the multi-merge right here. And let's connect the polygon with it. So for now, I'm going to go over at, let's say, 70. And from here, I'm just going to draw this. So you can just copy. And this doesn't have to be perfect. This is just random. But make sure to make it seem look good enough. So it seems like the fuel is coming out, out from the rocket. So something like this. Perfect. And also make sure to go over to the polygon, and in the soft edge, change this all the way to 0.2. All right. And right here, we're going to move this outside the screen. So let's just move this outside the screen, and this will, we need to create a keyframe at center as well. Then, okay, so make sure to undo this right here where we created this, you can say outline. Make sure to create a keyframe at center, and then at 75, make sure this is outside the screen now. And right here at 60, move this right here. So if you play this, you will see that it looks like the fuel is coming outside the rocket. But of course, we're going to go right here, and you can of course change the seed rate if you want. I'm just going to go with 0.5 for now to see how this looks. So at 0.5 looks good. And right here at where this rocket goes outside the screen, we're going to add this headquarter image. So let's connect this right here with the multi-merge. And what I'm going to do here is copy this polygon, Control C, and then paste Control V, and then just add this to the image. So this is how it will look right here. Okay, one more thing is let's just unselect this polygon for now and go over to the multi-merge, and right here, make sure to move this down where the rocket is. So beneath the rocket, let's just call this HQ, headquarters, and you can just increase the size from here. So now let's connect this polygon and see how this looks. So great. But right here where we have this at maybe let's say 70, let's go over to the polygon, and I'm going to change the settings from here. So for this one, I'm just going to move this right here, somewhere around here. And then at 75, I'm just going to remove the keyframe from here. So let's just go with 75 and then just move this right here. Okay, let me just undo this, and right here at 70, make sure to create keyframe right here. But then at 75, let's go right here at 75, move this up like this. You can use the center to make sure that the screen is visible, image is visible on the screen. So something like this. Right here, you will notice that we have this face. So what you can do right here is make sure that you are at 70, create a keyframe at the soft edge, then at 75, let's just reduce this to 0. So if you play this now, this is how it will look. And again, you can adjust this accordingly. What I'm going to do right now is to make sure that this is behind the rocket. Make sure that the image is revealing once the rocket is moving. So along with the rocket, let's say something like this. Okay, so right here, I'm just going to move this right here. Then at 75, let's just move this right here. Perfect. Okay, and now for this SpaceX image headquarters. Now for this headquarter image, make sure to select this and add this color corrector. And from here, we're going to just reduce the saturation a little bit. So let's say around 0.3. And let's go back to the main timeline and see how this looks. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and add in the sound effects. So for the first one, I'm going to add this high speed, and this will just be for this transition that we have right here. Something like this. And for the rocket, we have this one. Make sure to add this one right here. So here we have the sound effects done as well. And finally, I'm going to add one more, you can say fusion composition right here. So let's add this in. Make sure that this is right here where we have this animation coming in. So right here where we have this final, you can say sound effect, the camera shutter sound effect closing. Make sure to change the length of the fusion composition up to that. And let's open this in Fusion page. Add in it text. Make sure to connect this and let's type in rocket launch. Rocket launch right here. And for the font again, I'm using the Lucida Bright, but this time this will be only at italic. And let's increase the size. Right click your text right here in the text box. Make sure to right click and click on follower and go over to the modifiers and change the order to random but one by one. Then the delay type, change this. Make sure that this is at between each character, and then the delay, make sure to change this at 0.2. Then let's go over to the transform. And from here, let's go over to, let's say 30. And in the size, I'm going to create two keyframes, then add 0. I'm going to change this to 0. So if you play this, this is how it will look. And right here, I'm just going to position this. So something like this. And let's just fade this out. So there you go. So this was it for this video. I hope you will find this video useful, and I will see you in the next one.